I've been making this video for 3 years. So 3 years ago, I started a kombucha brewery in KL, and I have no employees, no investors, no team, just me. So this is a story I never told anyone. So 3 years ago, before I started the kombucha business, I was working in a company that teaches people how to bake and cook. So it was quite a fun time while I worked there. I believe it was post MCO, and while working there, I actually then met one of my first so-called partners for kombucha. So initially, I was helping him to run his kombucha business, and along the way, we have some uh, we have our own opinions about how to split the money. And as we can't find a common ground for that issue, so we just break up. So and then during that time, I haven't resigned from my full-time job yet. So on and off, I will bring some testers to my students and my clients to taste it out and gather their feedback. So actually, the first brew was quite um, smooth. I didn't encounter any batches that is molded or spoiled, so I was quite lucky there. And as I gather more and more feedback, I decided to put my kombucha in a fruity profile. Means that if you're a first timer or you are looking for more fruity flavors kombucha, then you should try out my kombucha. Okay, so after I think roughly 3 months, I think 2 to 3 months of gathering feedback from my students and clients, on one day, I let my mom to try it out. I believe she tried pineapple at first. I think she was shocked and she said, "Hey, this is nice." So that's the time that I decided to really go full force on the business. So how I get my client actually is quite traditional. So I just pick up the phone, search on Google Map, and just call. I say, "Hey, do you want to try out kombucha?" Or if they say no, just say, "Thank you, have a great day." I think I called almost 1,000 cafes and restaurants, and finally landed one, which is my first client in Brickfields. The client was neither vegetarian. So when I got the yes from them, I was like, wow, finally. Because if the day I was like, if I didn't get a yes on that day, I would decide to just close the business because it's just not working. Then well, I got the yes from them. I was so happy, and I think the next day I think it's the next day or the next 2 days I just meet up with them, and it was very smooth. The owner told me that while they have already decided to take kombucha into their restaurant, the next day I called in. So yeah, I think it's kind of something related to faith. So that's how I landed my first client.
That they are having over Christmas dinner, like, oh yeah, like, you know, we can.
So when it all started out, I landed my first client, and second client was actually Tap Boy. So funny enough, I actually called to their outlet first. Then they actually don't know how to respond at first, and then one of their managers talked to me and said that, hey, you should write in an email to this email address, and I did. Fortunate enough again that I landed a meeting with them and to bring samples to them to try as well, and it was extremely smooth as well. Okay, I'm very grateful for my first two clients that believed in me. So after that, I met some referrals client, and my cold call journey is continued as well. Meantime, I look for influencers to help me to post a review. Honestly, for my product, influencers doesn't really work well with that. Then up to date, I think I have around 20, actively 18 touch point along Klang Valley. And the usually day-to-day was just brewing kombucha, cold calling, thinking of marketing, and bottling, buying foods, kind of stuff. So it's very boring. One thing is also that I quite regret that I don't really know how to do content. I think I'm not sure whether I'm not good at doing content or I'm afraid to talk in front of a camera. So I actually position myself in a very bad position in the business, which I do a consignment term for 30 days. So which means I will place my products at the retail, and after 30 days I'll get a sales report from them, and I'll only then issue the invoice to my clients. At first I went for this model is because that I wanted to close sales. Okay, so I didn't thought much back then. As time goes on, you realize that consignment model really depends on your capital. So if you don't have much capital, I don't recommend doing that because it's going to eat up your cash flow, and then sometimes you might not have a salary. That's my advice, okay? Another very interesting moment along this journey in these 3 years is that I used to have a client in TRX, Cebu, okay? So this client actually, when we closed I won't say close, we agreed on a meeting date and time. So I got there on time, and funny enough, I need to wait the owner for like 30 minutes. I don't know where he went, so I've been sitting there for 30 minutes. Okay, and then when he arrived, didn't shake my hand, didn't give me a good face. He just said he won 40%. So I looked back at him. So I tell him that you can mark up you can mark up whatever price you want. I won't interfere with that because I always believe you know your customer best. So he was stunned for a bit because he thought that I would be arguing back and forth about the retail price, but unfortunately I'm not arguing on that. So during the time I actually had a bad feeling about it, and after the first stock up, okay, it sold out quite fast, and then here comes the problem. When I tried to collect my first batch payment, it got dragged, and they rushed me on the restock. So I actually made clear that it's already 1 month, you haven't paid me my first batch, then how can I stock up? Because there's no trust there. And I'm also afraid that I can't collect back my money. So I chased that payment for 3 months. Eventually they went bankrupt, and I texted the owner, I texted the manager, no one replied. Even to a point, I think I went to TRX every day for like 7 hours and just sitting in their space just to wait for the owner to show up. But I don't know whether is it CCTV or anything. The owner didn't show up at all for that 7 days. So unfortunately, there was a bad debt there. Yeah, and I learned my lesson to trust my guts on that one. And then, like how the business grew is actually very direct, and I would say in a way stupid, because I don't really do social media marketing much. If you have time, you can take a look in my social media page, Instagram. I don't really do much of it because one thing, I agree that I don't really have a good arts taste, and secondly, I think I'm afraid of speaking in front of camera. So that plays a big part of it. So my marketing is not what you think, like doing content, yada yada, but it's just calling up someone on Google Map and just walk in with the testers and just speak to them. And I don't know how did I survive until now. I think luck is one of it. And the product itself, I won't say it's the best, but it's definitely above average. So I think the product speaks for itself. And yeah, the marketing effort is just there. I just cold call someone on Google Maps and walk in, chit chat. If they take, then it's a good thing. If they don't take, I will just move on. So that's actually the marketing. And there came AI. So when ChatGPT first came out, I was excited because they did their marketing very well. So I tested out during the time when ChatGPT first launched. That I think that no one was using that at the time until it got hype and people started to using it to chat daily or use it like a Google search. But I already started to do something using AI. At first was ChatGPT, and then there came Google Gemini, and there came Anthropic Claude. So until this day, I'm actually running most of my paperwork on Claude, and some of it I even built a Python script to just generate those automated tasks. So it's those boring automated tasks. So it actually saves quite some time, but while building the system, you will need to study the basics and the theories of each department. So let's say you're building a finance department, you will need to really know the basics and theory in it, and operation as well. So yeah, it's not an easy like a very easy thing to do, but it's definitely doable. I think everyone should try that as well. So as this is my first video, as I recording this journey along the way, I think I'll share more about something that able to help small companies or even solopreneurs to take some things off take some weight off their shoulders, so you can focus more on the things that matters to the business. So yeah, I've been making this video for 3 years. One of it is to really tell myself to get over with the camera phobia thing, and secondly is I think now is the right time to share some of my experience and my perspective about how we run business in this era with AI. And yeah, so if you're interested, if you like my journey, so subscribe and follow along. So see you, and if you have any thoughts, just leave in the comments. So I think that's all.